If you've been keeping up with the crypto news, you've probably heard about a lengthy document which was published by the US Department of Justice in early October. Titled Cryptocurrency and Enforcement Framework, this 83-page report seems to have spooked quite a few people and resulted in the publication of dozens of alarming news articles. So, should you be concerned? Well, I know that few of you have the time or the patience to read nearly 100 pages of legal mumbo-jumbo, which is why I decided to take one for the team and do it for you. So today, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about this document: who made it, what it says, what it means, and where it fits in the wider web of recent cryptocurrency regulations. Needless to say, I was quite surprised by what I found. What exactly did I find? Well, stick around and find out. Before we dig in, I need to say something loud and clear, lest I find myself named in one of these lengthy government documents about cryptocurrency. I am not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video should be interpreted as financial or investment advice. This video is just another resource to help you make your own decisions about cryptocurrency. Remember, there's a lot more out there beyond what I say here, so make sure to do your own research. If you're new to the Bureau, allow me to break the ice. My name is Guy, and around these parts I am known as the Crypto Guy. I make videos almost every day about a wide selection of topics related to cryptocurrency. This means cryptocurrency token reviews, exchange tutorials, DeFi protocol breakdowns, the whole shebang. If any of these topics sound like your bread and butter, be the first in line at the Bureau Video Bakery by subscribing. Pinging that notification bell will make sure you get these videos while they're hot. And also, if you're on the hunt for some specific information or just pressed for time, the timestamps below should help you out. I promise I won't be offended if you do decide to skip around. Alright, it's time to put our thinking caps on. Let's see what all the fuss is about with this DOJ report. I'll start by putting your mind at ease. The Cryptocurrency Enforcement Framework, recently released by the US Department of Justice, does not actually impose any new legally binding cryptocurrency regulations. It is merely a document that US regulators can use for guidance when it comes to making decisions about cryptocurrencies. This is noted right at the beginning of the document in the guidance disclaimer. Thank heavens. So, who wrote this document and what's their angle? Well, the framework was written by the Attorney General's Cyber Digital Task Force, which was established in 2018. This task force was established to examine technologies which could be threats to public safety and national security. Apparently, cryptocurrency is one of those technologies. The core task force consists of 7 people, all of whom have a background in law or hold high positions in the FBI. Another 14 people are listed as having contributed to the Cyber Digital Task Force. I creeped them all to the best of my ability and found that they all have chops similar to the core task force. All have experience and backgrounds in criminal law and US intelligence. To my surprise, only one of these contributors seems to have worked with cryptocurrencies in a meaningful way. This contributor is Catherine Alden Pelker, who worked as a digital payments expert at the FBI for 6 years. She co-authored an article about cryptocurrency in September 2015, which focused on Bitcoin and reads similarly to the Cryptocurrency Enforcement Framework. Catherine left the FBI in 2016 to become a trial attorney with the US Department of Justice, specializing in computer crime and intellectual property. That's 2 years before the Cyber Digital Task Force was established. This is all important to note for 2 reasons. First, it's clear to me that not a single person involved with writing this document was seriously trying to keep up to date with the cryptocurrency space. Although a few anecdotes from 2020 are mentioned in the document, much of it seems to have been written in late 2018 or early 2019. This is exposed in the introduction, which notes that there are over 2,000 cryptocurrencies in existence. While this is how many there were in late 2018 and early 2019, today there are over 7,000 cryptocurrencies and counting. What's more is that some of these new cryptocurrencies run circles around current regulations. An easy example is Ampleforth, a cryptocurrency which adjusts its supply based on demand and literally changes balances of the Ample token on user wallets in the process. None of these new novel cryptos are noted in the document. You can learn more about Ampleforth by watching my video about it right here. Anyways, I can't blame the Cyber Digital Task Force and its contributors for lagging behind new developments in the crypto space. Heck, it's my full-time job to keep up, and I'll be the first to admit that it's not easy. I can't imagine trying to stay up to date with crypto while simultaneously prosecuting some seriously evil cyber criminals or doing some super secret FBI stuff. Still, if you are going to put out a document which is intended to serve as a guide for government regulators, it really ought to be as current as possible. Second, there's no question that the previous experience of the Cyber Digital Task Force and its contributors influenced how they approached cryptocurrency in the report. I mean, the first part is titled Threat Overview, and the section detailing the legitimate use cases of cryptocurrency is only a few paragraphs long. The illicit use cases of cryptocurrency, on the other hand, are basically the rest of the document. It's not all that shocking that a group of people who have spent their lives working in law, crime, and intelligence come at crypto with their swords drawn. Again, though, it seems like it would have been a good idea to have some counterbalancing opinions in a document which is meant to guide regulation. These alternative viewpoints would not have been too hard to find. The United States is home to some of the most outspoken and legitimately intelligent cryptocurrency advocates. It is what it is. So, now we know what we're in for, let's take a closer look and see what's actually being said in this document. The framework is divided into three parts: threat overview, law and regulations, and ongoing challenges and future strategies. Let's go through some of the key takeaways from each part. Part 1 of the Cryptocurrency Enforcement Framework, Threat Overview, is divided into 4 sections. The first section, titled The Basics, explains what cryptocurrencies are and how they work. The authors actually do a pretty good job of doing this, so hats off to them for that. The first section closes with a distinction between regular cryptocurrencies and, quote, anonymity-enhanced cryptocurrencies such as Monero, Zcash, and Dash. The second section of the threat overview is probably the shortest of the entire document and pertains to the legitimate use cases of cryptocurrency. 5 are outlined by the DOJ. These are the elimination of centralized intermediaries, reducing costs, corruption, and fraud, an alternative currency during times of runaway inflation, micropayments, increase access to financial services and markets, and privacy preservation. The third section of the threat overview is an expose of the dark side of cryptocurrency. It goes into incredible detail about all the different ways cryptocurrency is used for illicit purposes, especially privacy coins. It also elaborates on a chilling claim made at the very beginning of the document, that even cryptocurrencies that operate outside of the United States could be held liable if they do not abide by government regulations. According to the DOJ, cryptocurrencies are used to finance terrorism, hide financial activities, and commit crimes. Numerous case studies are presented to support the argument that cryptocurrencies are frequently used for these things. The fourth and final section of the threat overview pertains to the relationship between cryptocurrency and darknet markets. It's a relatively short section which details how the darknet facilitates illicit activities involving cryptocurrency, like those mentioned above. The case studies covered here are actually quite interesting and worth a read if you have the time. Part 2 of the framework focuses on laws and regulations which are relevant to cryptocurrency. The titles of these 3 sections of this part are fairly self-explanatory and predictably boring. The first section of laws and regulations lists off existing sections of the criminal code which pertain to cryptocurrency. Most of these involve various types of fraud. The second section of laws and regulations details the other 6 regulatory bodies in the United States which work with the Department of Justice on cryptocurrency-related issues. These are the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, which analyzes financial transactions and investigates those which may be related to money laundering. The report notes that they want to force implement KYC on decentralized exchanges and other dApps. Good luck there, folks. Then there's the Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, which deals with economic and trade sanctions on foreign governments, individuals, and terrorist organizations. Next is the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or OCC, which charters, regulates, and supervises national banks in the United States. This department might sound familiar, as they're the ones which gave the green light to federal banks in the United States to custody cryptocurrencies in late July earlier this year. Then comes the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, which regulates markets and protects investors. You've probably heard about the SEC before as well, due to their role in regulating cryptocurrency ICOs. Next is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or CFTC, which oversees derivatives contracts, futures, and other advanced trading markets. And last but not least, the People's Choice, the IRS, aka the Internal Revenue Service, which deals with taxes. All of these bodies, along with the Department of Justice, also work with state authorities to uphold regulations surrounding cryptocurrency. The third section of Laws and Regulations briefly discusses the Financial Action Task Force, an international regulatory body which attempts to set global standards for financial regulations. Now for the third and final part of the framework, aptly titled Ongoing Challenges and Future Strategies. This part consists of two sections which go hand in hand. They are business models and activities that may facilitate criminal activity, and Department of Justice response strategies. There are a few things worth highlighting in these two sections. First, the Department of Justice, quote, considers the use of anonymous enhancing cryptocurrencies to be a high-risk activity that is indicative of possible criminal conduct. Second, privacy coins are not sold off when seized by US authorities, as is the case with other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. That sounds like some nice deflationary pressure to me. Third, don't get caught hosting or using a cryptocurrency mixer. To recap, if you're unfamiliar, cryptocurrency mixing services basically mix up transactions such that it becomes nearly impossible to figure out who is sending to who. Some cryptocurrency wallets, such as the Wasabi Bitcoin wallet, have this feature built into them. Fourth, if you're planning on operating a cryptocurrency exchange, a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency platform, a cryptocurrency ATM, or a cryptocurrency casino, pucker up and prepare to get shafted by regulations. If you currently operate any of these and are not based in the US but provide services to US citizens, remember that the DOJ will not hesitate to hit you with the book if they think you've crossed a regulatory line. Finally, the Department of Justice wants to know more about cryptocurrency and intends to reach out to private companies in the crypto space to help hammer out regulations in the future. Let's hope that this does not translate into crypto monopolies stamping out up-and-coming crypto projects with regulations, as has happened with some other industries. Now that we know what the cryptocurrency enforcement framework says, it's time to take a closer look at its claims. Let's take it from the top. First, the US Department of Justice ironically does not do justice when it comes to discussing the legitimate use cases of cryptocurrency. It's also a tad concerning that the wording of that section implies that these benefits amount to nothing more than hypotheticals given what we know and what they certainly also know. For example, we know that doing away with centralized third parties such as banks in lending and borrowing offers incredible benefits to both lenders and borrowers. DeFi has arguably proven this. We also know that yield farming, cryptocurrency mining, and even just investing in the right cryptocurrency can be paths to financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrency has been used to combat inflation, and not just in places like Venezuela or Lebanon. The value of the US dollar depreciates at a rate of roughly 3% per year. The fixed supply of Bitcoin has made it an easily accessible long-term hedge against inflation, in addition to being an alternate form of payment. What's more is that Dash, one of the cryptos on the DOJ's naughty list, is being used as a payment method in Venezuela just as much as Bitcoin is. Moreover, Dash is not actually a privacy coin and should therefore not be in the crosshairs of regulators. If you want to understand why, watch my recent video about Dash by clicking here. Is cryptocurrency used for illicit purposes? Well, yes, but it's important to put things in perspective. The DOJ's claim that cryptocurrency is being actively used by terrorist organizations stands on a single anecdote: the August 2020 seizure of, quote, millions of dollars worth of assets, including cryptocurrencies, which were donated to terrorist groups. I might be splitting hairs, but the DOJ does not give the breakdown of the assets seized, meaning we do not know how much of these millions of dollars were denominated in cryptocurrency. Also, when I searched the interwebs, I just could not find any other evidence which would suggest cryptocurrencies are being widely used by terrorists. Now, to be fair, the DOJ certainly has access to additional classified information that you and I will probably never see. From where I'm standing, though, I reckon that regular fiat makes up the overwhelming majority of terrorism-related transactions, and I believe this is probably the case with that August 2020 crackdown. What about the use of cryptocurrency in financial crimes? There's no doubt that Bitcoin is the asset of choice for ransomware attackers. According to the FBI, ransomware victims have paid over $140 million to attackers over the past 6 years. However, in 2018 alone, Americans lost over $10.5 billion to phone scams. These usually involve credit cards, wire transfers, and gift cards. Well, what about money laundering? Cryptocurrencies are used to launder money. This is to the tune of anywhere between $1.5 billion to $3 billion per year. This is around the same amount of money which is laundered each year with expensive art pieces, and 100 times less than the amount of money which is laundered through US casinos every year. Moreover, financial documents were leaked to news outlets earlier this year suggesting that major banks around the world, including JP Morgan Chase, HSBC, and Deutsche Bank, have been laundering hundreds of billions of dollars a year for decades. HSBC got nailed with a $1.9 billion fine in 2012 for laundering nearly $900 million worth of drug cartel money. A slap on the wrist for a company with revenues exceeding $50 billion per year. Now, this is not to say that money laundering isn't bad. It really is. Just ask my shady friend Mad Mike. I am trying to just highlight the fact that cryptocurrency is a drop in the bucket by comparison, and that extensive regulations do not seem to prevent money laundering. These big banks and casinos prove that. So, cryptocurrency does not seem to be widely used by terrorists. Fiat is. Although Bitcoin is the payment of choice for ransomware attackers, fiat is the payment of choice by a wide margin in similar scams. And cryptocurrency money laundering is dwarfed by the money laundering occurring within heavily regulated institutions. This brings us to DOJ's speciality, crime. For those unfamiliar, the websites you can access from search engines like Google are really just the tip of the internet iceberg. Beneath the delicate surface we interact with on a daily basis lies a much larger internet space called the deep web. How much larger? Well, nobody knows for sure, but conservative estimates believe the deep web to be at least 500 times larger than the surface web. Now, the deep web isn't necessarily bad. It just consists of websites which cannot be accessed from regular search engines. By contrast, the darknet is used to describe a small number of websites on the deep web which are used for illegal activities such as buying and selling guns, drugs, classified information, along with a whole bunch of other stuff that would get me banned from YouTube and put on a list if I said it out loud. Cryptocurrency is widely used as a payment method on darknet marketplaces. Nobody knows exactly how crypto compares to fiat on the darknet because nobody has managed to accurately estimate the size of the darknet market. A lot of research has been done by companies like Chainalysis to examine exactly which cryptocurrencies are being used on the darknet by tracking transactions on public crypto blockchains like Bitcoin. A study done by the 1000X group earlier this year found that only Bitcoin, Monero, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash were accepted as a form of payment by major darknet marketplaces. They also found that Bitcoin is being used in 60% of transactions on major darknet markets, though its dominance has been declining as criminals slowly turn to privacy coins and Bitcoin Cash. Indeed, as these blockchain tracking firms get better and better, it makes less and less sense to use cryptocurrencies with publicly viewable transactions such as Bitcoin. The framework tries to synonymize privacy with criminality. There's no denying that privacy coins do help bad people do bad things. However, the solution is not to go to the other extreme of forcing everyone to connect their identity to every single transaction they make. This itself can actually be viewed and possibly even disrupted by a corruptible, centralized authority. That would be a dangerous prologue to totalitarianism, and we have all seen what can happen in that territory. The privacy debate is outside the scope of this video, and the truth is, I don't have the answer to that dilemma either. What I do know is that there might be some way these privacy coins will be able to coexist with regulators going forward. The fact that Gemini was permitted to allow users to execute shielded withdrawals of Zcash gives me hope for a symbiotic future between privacy and oversight in the crypto space. Alright folks, I think I just about covered everything that was relevant to the Department of Justice's Cryptocurrency Enforcement Framework report. To recap, it does not introduce any new cryptocurrency regulations and is meant to be a resource to help regulators make decisions about cryptocurrencies in the same way that this video is a resource to help you on your journey to becoming a crypto king or queen. The report was written by a group of hotshot lawyers and fashionably dressed higher-ups at the FBI who are concerned about public safety and national security. They see cryptocurrency as a potential threat to both of those, but at the same time acknowledge that they have a lot to learn about the crypto space. However, that didn't stop them from discussing some pretty outlandish things, including going after foreign cryptocurrency exchanges and companies for violating US regulations, wanting DEXs and basically every cryptocurrency-related platform or service to use KYC, suggesting that anyone who uses privacy coins might be a criminal, and making it look like cryptocurrency is basically a cancer of society. Their negative interpretation of cryptocurrency does not stand up to scrutiny. And although they did try to address some of the positive attributes, it was a really lackluster effort. They should have taken the time to reach out to people who work in the cryptocurrency space and are actually keeping up with all the latest developments before writing the framework. While some may say that governments are rushing to regulate cryptocurrencies because of crime, taxation, or some more sinister totalitarian endgame, I happen to think there was some other hidden reason. Looking at the price action of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies during the 2018-2019 period, during which most of it was probably written, I think we can all agree that the reason why the DOJ is salty about cryptocurrency is simple. FUD. Oh, would you look at the time? I've got to cut this one here, folks. There's so much more out there to explore though. I learned a lot while making this video, and I hope you learned a lot from watching it. If you did, show me some love by clicking that like button and let me know what you think about what I discussed today in the comments section. Don't forget to give that subscribe button a digital smash if you aren't a part of the Bureau already, and shake up that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Want to see what videos I'm working on next? Got 30 seconds? See that first link in the description? That's the link to my weekly newsletter. I give you all the information you need. Tips, resources, updates, and more. Information so good you would think it was classified, and maybe it is. You'll have to sign up to the newsletter to find out. Remember to confirm your email or else you'll get lost in cyberspace. That's all, my friends. It was a pleasure as always. May the crypto force be with you.